How's it going, guys? My name is Alien. Today I'm back on another Identity 5 video. Today I will be doing a hunter guide for the new hunter, the Feaster. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so to start off the video, first I want to make an announcement. The Discord server is now live. I will have the link. Thanks to Pure Mayhem and Ravioli for helping me make it. Big help from them, and the Discord server is now live, so please join it, and the link will be in the comments and maybe the description. Okay, so this hunter guide on the Feaster will consist of how to use him, the best persona for him, how good I believe he is, and also something new, how to counter the Feaster. So this will add some value to survivors to watch this video. So first, let's just start off with his external trait. Survivors will experience terror if they remain in the fear radius for too long, is attacked, bitten by a patroller, fails a calibration, when a teammate is knocked to the ground, or when tied to a rocket chair. After absorbing their fear, Haster can use Touch of the Abyss to strike nearby survivors. Tentacles deteriorate quicker around rocket chairs with survivors on them. Okay. So basically, if any of the things happens that was listed, a survivor will experience terror. What this means is a tentacle pops up. So a tentacle pops up by them if anything like that happens, and then Haster or the Feaster can hit them with the tentacle. Lots of times when I teleport to someone, there'll be like 3-4 tentacles right by them, and they just don't dismantle them, and then I teleport and I just one hit them. So this is definitely useful. So at 0 persona, all he can do, he is probably the weakest early game hunter in the game by far. The strongest are guys like Geisha and Smiley, because Geisha always has her dash, and Smiley can get his dash from the beginning as well. But he's even weaker than probably the Ripper and Gamekeeper at beginning of the game, because all he can do, he cannot summon tentacles. All he can do is tentacles that pop up. He can hit survivors with them. So basically, he's useless early game. At 1000, he gets the ability to call tentacles. This requires skill in order to use him correctly. At this point, he can now get survivors and chairs. It's completely possible, but you have to be skilled with placing the tentacles, and you should be using it to block pathways and to block infinite loops. Now you can do this on your own instead of hoping a tentacle pops up at the right place. Then at 2500 persona, he becomes the best hunter in the game, without a doubt, in my opinion. Without a doubt, he's the best hunter in the game. Once he gets this persona, he's the best late game hunter in the game. And it's Haster can control tentacles and command them to strike nearby survivors. Survivors touched by Haster's gaze will be attacked by tentacles for 20 seconds. Cooldown for Nightmare Tripper is increased by an additional 10 seconds when a survivor is touched by Haster's gaze. So basically, this is Nightmare attack. So then, what this does is you click the button and you hold it, and you can mark a survivor. It's blue, and then it puts a little mark on them. At this point, any tentacle that they go by will attack them. They will all attack them. Plus, you can place a tentacle, and it will attack them automatically without you having to do anything. At this point, a survivor will never, if you are skilled at all, a survivor's never getting away. It's in my opinion, I call it a death mark. Once you get this mark, it's a GG. Again, you are not escaping unless the Feaster you are facing is bad. It's as simple as that. Unless he's bad, you are not escaping. I don't care if you're playing thief, coordinator, forward. You aren't escaping this unless the feaster is bad. Okay? So this is the strongest trait in the game. When he has this, he is the strongest hunter in the game. And he is very strong in my opinion. He is the best hunter in the game. Yes, I know Smiley and Geisha. Smiley's used a lot, so is Geisha. They're both really good. The problem with Geisha in high rank is that they haven't implemented what they did in the Chinese version to where you can only have one survivor each. Like, you can't have duplicate survivors. And since they haven't implemented this, she's basically, in my opinion, useless high rank right now, because if a team runs 2 thieves, 3 thieves, it's over. 1 thief you can deal with. 2 or 3, you're going to have a tough time with Geisha. Smiley can do anything. There's no real counters to him. So he's probably the most viable in high rank. But Feaster, I've had 10 times the success with Feaster than I've had with Geisha and Smiley in high rank. I've been climbing like I did like 2 weeks ago. I climbed really high 2 weeks ago, and ever since then, I realized how insanely overpowered survivors were, and then I just stopped playing it, and now I did it again, and I'm actually able to beat these overpowered survivor teams with Feaster. So now let's get into how to counter Feaster. What you want to do as a survivor, in my opinion, you can take 2 roads. I personally dismantle all tentacles. If I'm decoding, I dismantle all tentacles, because especially if he has teleport, he can teleport right onto you and just hit you with the tentacle and get you. I personally dismantle all of them because it only takes literally 2 seconds to dismantle. Next, you just have to keep an eye on the tentacles. It's really that simple. If a tentacle is right by you, you have to keep an eye on it, and you have to know which stage of the game Feaster is in. If he's early game and he's not looking at you, or if he has to cross a corner, he will not hit you. The tentacle won't hit you because he has to actually be looking at the tentacle to swing it. So he won't hit you. But if he's late game, he's going to have the mark on you, and it is going to hit you. So you have to take in note how strong he is at that point, and if he's in a position to hit you with the tentacle. And that's really the tips on how to counter him. There's no real survivor that counters him. Maybe Priestess is good. She's probably the one I've had the most trouble with. But Coordinator is... the Feaster, why he's so good, in my opinion, he's a hard counter to Coordinator. He just is. He's a hard counter to Coordinator, which is the most used survivor in high rank, along with the Thief. But you can switch out Thief. You cannot switch out Coordinator really at this point, unless it's for a forward, but no one really wants to do that. So, if they have 2 Coordinators, which is a team, mini high rank pick, it's a GG for them. If they have 1, it's basically still a GG, because what he can do, his tentacles can actually block a Coordinator's gun. And you may think it doesn't happen often. It happens all of the time. It's happened like 6 times already. Many times at high rank. It saved my life. His tentacles can block the Coordinator's gun, and you can place it, and then it just blocks the shot. And it's so funny when it happens, and it's very strong. Another trick for him, probably the best trick, which is what pushed him to really good to overpowered for me, is late game when he has the mark, the blue mark. Basically, if a Coordinator comes, or really anyone, but let's say it's the Coordinator rescuing, like it is basically every time, you place a tentacle down by the rocket chair. When the Coordinator comes, what you do is you place the blue mark on her, and then you sit there and you watch her get hit. What happens is, now since she's right by the rocket chair, the mark will go, the first tentacle you have will hit her, and even if it doesn't, literally 2 will pop up, 3 will pop up. Tentacles will just infinitely respawn every single second, not like 5 seconds, no, every second a tentacle respawns and hits her. And if she does end up completing the rescue, then both of them, the person she rescued, as soon as they get up, they get hit because they're right by the coordinator, so the tentacle hits them. Plus, the coordinator gets hit, and now they're both down. This is a complete hard counter to coordinator. I'm no longer scared of coordinators. I'm actually happy when I face one with the feaster because there's nothing they can do. There's no dismantling. No, if they try and dismantle, I hit them. There's nothing they can honestly do to stop a feaster because he's a hard counter. Another trick with them is if you put a tentacle down, you can actually hit it, use the thing to hit the tentacle, and then it will, when it attacks, even if no survivors near, it attacks in the direction of the nearest survivor. So this will help you know where the nearest survivor is, especially if it's like late game and you have someone on the rocket chair and then a survivor is trying to go to a dungeon. You can use that and then to see where the survivor is, so where the dungeon is, or so then you can cut them off before the rocket chair goes to the manor. So that's when it's useful. This is the persona I use on him. I use down and left, and also owl, announcement, panic, and deteriorate. I use panic because it's just a really good trait. Really good trait. I use announcement because it's also a must-needed trait. I use down because this is a must-need trait on everyone's attention. I also use insolence, which is not a popular trait and is basically useless on most survivors. But the reason it's useless on most hunters is because they don't need it. The clown and geisha don't need insolence, but on a hunter like feaster, it's actually really strong on him, and it's really strong on like Gamekeeper and Ripper. So on Feaster it works out great for him because basically what it does is he only needs one hit to get Nightmare, to get the Nightmare attack. He only needs one hit because Insolence puts him up by half, and then you hit someone, and as soon as you get the hit, he's there. Without it, you need to complete 2 complete hits with him, and he has nothing to get him the hits early game. So what you can do to compensate for this is you can do one or two things. Oh, and by the way, many top-ranked Chinese hunters actually do use Insolence. So this has been proven, not by just me. What you can do is one or two things to get that ability. You can either use Insolence, or you can use Blink. It's really about which one you're willing to sacrifice. Would you rather have Confined Space or Wanted Order if you really need that, and then just use Blink instead of Teleport to get that second attack off? Or would you rather have Teleport and then you don't really need Wanted Order or Confined Space and then to get the hit off? In my opinion, it's much better to use Insolence instead of Blink, because he doesn't need Blink at all because his tentacles can hit, and Wanted Order is not really that useful because on a camping hunter, because you should camp with the Feaster. He's literally made for camping and you have to secure the kills, so it's not useful on a camping hunter really. And then Confined Space isn't useful on him because if you're good with him, you don't need to block windows because you just put a tentacle there and that basically blocks that pathway. So that's why I think it's much better to use Insolence and then go for Teleport. The only thing you're really missing out on is destructiveness, but I rarely have to actually destroy pallets with Feaster. So now I'm going to get into a game with him, play a game, talk you through what I'm thinking. And I do have a high rank gameplay of where I completely beat down this group of high rank survivors. I'll leave it in the comment section below. It's unlisted, so it's just some rank gameplay if you want to see high rank gameplay with the Feaster, and I'll leave it there for you to watch. I do want to thank everyone who saw that video, the 50 some people who saw the video. I'm gonna delete this video, that video, because they did help me out in practicing even more with the feaster. And if you're wondering about the skin, it's War of the Abyss. This is his original skin. In my opinion, it's ugly. And shout out to Mayhem for actually gifting me this skin, which I really like. But for Feaster, I do believe he is S tier without a doubt. I'm putting him S tier. Next, in my opinion, he's the best hunter in the game. You can get mad at me for that. You can say, "Oh, you're dumb." Smiley, gosh, I don't care. I've played many high ranked matches against high tier survivors. There's no hunter in the game that's ever given me more success than the Feaster. He counters all of the metas. The reason why the Feaster is so good right now is because the meta for survivors, it's a kiting and infinite looping meta. The teams you have, every single survivor can kite. The teams that succeed are the teams like Double Thieves, Double Coordinator, Coordinator Thief, Coordinator Double Thief Magician, Thief Magician Coordinator Mechanic, to where 3 of the 4 can kite. So every team will either have 4 out of 4 survivors who can kite, or they will have 3 out of 4 survivors who can kite. Geisha and Smiley, in my opinion, just are not really good enough to take on that meta. Now, in the Chinese version, the meta isn't really just kiting, because now that they implemented the one unique survivor each rule in, now a lot of teams you see are 2 decoders, like they use Mind Eye and Mechanic, and then they use Coordinator and Forward. So there's only 2 kiters on that team, and then there's 2 people you can go after. So that's why he's not as useful, because you aren't facing as many kiters. And the thing is, 99% of hunters that play in the top 50, top 100 high rank are gonna use Smiley or Geisha. So that's what survivors will build for. That's why they will build Coordinator Thief. But they aren't going to build for the Feaster, so that's why you will be able to face double Coordinator or Coordinators, because they aren't going to build for the Feaster, and then you have that advantage at that point. So I really believe he's very strong. Anyone that tells you he's not strong, in my opinion, hasn't really mastered him, hasn't used him enough to really know all of his strengths. And the trait I do recommend using is Teleport, by the way. You can use Blink, like I said earlier, but Teleport is what I use. Mind's Eye, 2 Thieves, Lucky Guy. Hopefully he changes from Lucky Guy. I have a better team, but it doesn't matter. But I do want to say Feaster does have a high skill gap on him. He does have a high skill gap, I'm not going to lie. He's not just for anyone. It's very difficult to control the tentacles and place them exactly where you want, and it's also difficult to put the mark on quickly and stuff like that. So he does have a high skill gap on him. So that's why many Feasters you see will not succeed, because they're just bad with them and they don't know how to use them that correctly. So we're playing on Arms Factory. This is an okay map. Right there is an infinite loop. Not even the Feaster can take that. Don't go right there. Someone's decoding. It's the Mind's Eye. I'm going to try and cut it off before she can vault the window. And now that she's in there, I'll chase her for a little bit, just because she's the Mind's Eye, but yeah, she's not, I don't think she's that good at knowing the loop. No, yeah, she's not that good. So there you go. She's down already. And we already have our first survivor down. And it's the survivor we want, the mind's eye. Now the mechanics decoding slower. Even if she uses a robot, it's slower. And the thief is also slower. Now what you do, yes, you camp. It's quick match. Usually I want to camp. I want to show you how to play your high rank. So you go here, you put the tentacle down, then you camp. When someone comes, you hit them with that, and then you regularly hit them and down them. And just to show you, a lot of people don't know, you can see if a cipher is decoding by looking at the outline. If you see right there to the left, the third one to the left, it's moving. That means it's being decoded. And see, that one's now decoded. That's how you can see. So someone may come save. If they do, it's a death trap. And I forgot to mention, dang it. What? Oh. I was just bad and wasn't paying attention. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's on me. That is totally on me. That should have been an easy insta down. But I was not paying attention. I have to chase this mind's eye. But it's open area, so I should get it right now and put her on the chair. I did forget to mention that the Feaster has the longest attack range in the game, and this is what you use to get the ability. You use your attack range. That's how you get your ability, is by using your attack range to the fullest to get that one hit you need. It's not that difficult to get one hit, since that's all you need if you're using insulin. Okay, so now I'm fully upgraded. Now this is what the mark looks like. See, and then he's dead. That's how simple it is. You have to be really good. You saw how quickly I was able to push that far. I knew where he was gonna go, obviously. So once you put the mark, just put it behind that pallet. He's dead. It's too late. He won't have enough time to even see what's happening, and it won't even be this close if I wouldn't have made that mistake earlier, but I did. That one's being decoded. I'm not gonna leave. Yeah, I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna attempt to leave. Now let's see where they are. It's going right there. There goes the mechanic. She's ready. And now let's complete that. Flawless victory. Put the mark on him. The mechanic's gonna get free. I know where the dungeon is. The mechanic's gonna get free by this time. Most likely. Now I know where she is. Gonna just deny this aggregate. And that's a GG. And that's a flawless victory. GG. And there you go. There's some gameplay of how you use the feaster. That's some gameplay of how you use the feaster correctly. You saw that right there. Flawless victory. Even though I made a big mistake in the game, I could have easily got the mechanic from the beginning plus secure the mind's eye, and it would have been even more secure of a win. And I made a big mistake. I still get the flawless. His attack range is great. That's why I used attention, because his attack range is so good. And then the mark, you saw what that did to the thief. It's just too strong. If you are skilled with putting the tentacles down like I was right there. And these are all tier 4 survivors. These aren't anything too special, but they are tier 4. So these aren't noobs that bite. They aren't noobs at all. They definitely know how to play the game. Plus, it was a pretty good team comp. 2 thieves, mind's eye, and a mechanic. So, I will have gameplay of me using him in ranked, if y'all want to see that, in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, more hunter guides, survivor guides, tips and tricks, tier list videos, ranking videos, patch note analysis videos, whatever it is, identity 5, you name it, I'll be covering it. If you want to see more of that, please subscribe to the channel. If this video was informative, helped you out in any way, please leave it a like. We're about 540 subscribers right now. I have a 500 subscribers special trolling video coming out probably Monday or Tuesday. I have many more videos coming out this weekend and over Labor Day weekend. So stay tuned. And that'll be all for the video. Bye.